If I were Mr. President, I would have fired him. His response was so infantile. Expert slams Onanuga. His response is always infantile. The man, he doesn't know anything. Onanuga, special advisor. He doesn't know anything. Shinda, he doesn't know. Development and investment expert Dr. Onanuga Obiariri has strongly criticized presidential aide Bayo Onanuga's reaction to comments made by Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, regarding Nigeria's economic state. Speaking during an interview with News Central TV, Dr. Obiariri described Onanuga's response as lacking substance and maturity. Always, he doesn't have anything tangible to say. If I were Mr. President, I would have fired him because his response was so infantile. If I were Mr. President, I would have fired him because his response was so infantile. He never addressed any of the issues he stated. He never addresses issues. It's always attacking. And once you say something, he's always on the defensive mode. I'm going to defend. He's like a fighter. The main thing that somebody talked about, he will not address it. I don't understand him. He argued that Adesina is one of Nigeria's most accomplished technocrats, with a proven record from his time as Minister of Agriculture under President Jonathan and now as AFDB President. According to him, the facts Adesina laid out about Nigeria's economic regressions were accurate and shouldn't be dismissed. To support this, Obiariri cited historical data, noting that in 1970, Nigeria's GDP stood at $12.4 billion compared to South Korea's $3.9 billion. Imagine, in the 70s. He said both countries were at par by 1980, but today, South Korea has surged ahead. You want to be Nigeria and South Korea. You cannot even compare the two of us. South Korea is way. We watch South Korean movies now. We see how South Korea is. Those ones have gone way ahead of us. They are surged ahead with a GDP of $1.71 trillion, while Nigeria struggles below $200 billion. He maintained that the country's economic challenges didn't start under Tinubu. Yes, we know that it did not start under Tinubu, but were inherited from previous administration. A responsible government spokesperson, he argued, should have acknowledged Adesina's valid observations and focused on solution rather than deflection. Exactly, everybody tries to criticize you people instead of you to say that, okay, we are going to do something about it, or we are going to look into the matter and try to resolve it and do that. They always want to fight back and insult the person that said the thing. Instead of them to say, okay, we are going to work on this and that. They never say that though. They would always argue. Bwala, Onanuga, Ren, all of them, always on the attacking. Obiariri also addressed criticism making Adesina's comments to political motives, asserting that there was nothing political in his assessment. He insisted that Peter Obi's economic suggestions were in line with experts' recommendations, particularly around reducing wasteful spending and investing in productive sectors. He called for sincerity and competence in governance, suggesting that the current administration must take bold steps, including reshuffling its cabinet and reducing the cost of governance. According to him, Nigeria has the potential of becoming a $1 trillion economy within 4 to 5 years if the right policies are adopted. He stressed that achieving this would require capable leadership, not dismissive responses to constructive criticism. Yes, they are always dismissing whatever anybody says, and rather insult the person that said something rather than listen to what the person said or take note of what the person said and say, okay, we are going to listen to your suggestion and work on it. But no, they always argue, dismiss that person's statement, insult the person all the time. Dr. Bayo concluded by urging President Tinubu to engage experts like Adesina and implement meaningful reforms rather than attacking those who speak truth to power. Yes, so they are always attacking. Always attacking. Don Rubio says, under Tinubu, a Yoruba man, Nigeria has become worse like never before. Must you people add Yoruba? People and tribalism, you have problem. Joseph Enyekere says, Onanuga has no sense because he's on drugs, just as Vicky is on alcohol. Definitely. Emeka Anyako says, Mr. A. Warfare, Onanuga is a drunk who thinks that anybody who talks about Nigeria without praising the government is an enemy of the president. It is part of the reason I'm seeing APC and his member as worse than some cancer, even though Oyesom Wike once said that APC is worse than cancer. And the APC that is worse than cancer is the one that is a minister under. Vincent Boroman says, Onanuga thinks by saying such negative things, Tinubu would like him, but his activities has actually demarcated this government in several ways. In view several ways, the man, he doesn't have sense at all. He doesn't know what he's doing. Dr. Prince says, my take is Tinubu's government has done enough by projecting Nigerian policies positively abroad. How? How did they project it positively? Now focus on how the countless number of billionaires in Nigeria can invest in Nigeria. Mr. President, if you pretend and go out, you will see how investors are discouraged. The environment for business is not conducive, exactly. And government should work on the bureaucracy which gives room for corrupt practices. 2. Promote effective monitoring. 3. Identify the potentials in each local government and attract Nigerian investors. Nobody wants to invest. Of course, we have a lot of billionaires in this country, but they would rather not waste their money. Look at what they did to the owner of Landmark. If they can do that to the owner of Landmark, they can do it to anybody. So nobody will want to invest again in this country. They would not. Alphonsus Alubo says, he always has gaslighting response. He would insult the person. It's always like that. Always. He doesn't have anything reasonable to say. He doesn't have sense. That's just it. Nojo says he's an attack dog, and how else did you expect him to respond? If not, denigrate the AFDP chief. Exactly, he's an attack dog. That's what he knows how to do. Many Mapan says, telling lies is extremely synonymous with Bayo Onanuga. In fact, he is doing competition with Lai Mohammed. However, you don't expect anything whatsoever associated with APC and the present hopelessly clueless administration to be of use at all, then how can Bayo be an exception? Exactly. And how can he be an exception? Caleb Kinla says, who is to blame when a coach includes very bad players in his team? The coach is certainly to blame, not the player. How can a journalist who behaves like a tout, Agberu, be assigned to respond to a seasoned economist well-researched economic facts? Therefore, don't blame Bayo Onanuga, blame the person who included him in the team. Tinubu Abi, that man, he doesn't know anything. Chuks Amadi says, see how dem dey yeye Onanuga like small pikin wey just dey get sense. What a shame. And he gets kids then too go dey ashamed of their father. Stupidity and utterances causes speak senselessly without even thinking like an adult. So fear, he doesn't think. The man doesn't have sense. Now listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye.